Hello students, today we start a new topic, super elevation or kind of module number 4, curve surveying subject. So here all of you know about the super elevation. In a MOS subject semester 3, in a MOS subject you already learn of a super elevation. So today we discuss about what is super elevation. So super elevation is defined as a rising the outer edge of the road respect to inner edge. Look like this, you exactly shown in a figure. So it's inner edge of the road and this one is the outer edge of the road. So when any road or a highway turn in a left side or right side, at that time outer edge is rising as compared to inner edge, so it's called a super elevation. Clear? So here e means super elevation, e is written. Now here when any vehicle is turned in a left side or right direction in a curve form, so at that time centrifugal force is given by P is equal to V square W V square divided by GR. So what is P? P is the centrifugal force in a kg or Newton. W is the weight of the vehicle in the form of the kg or Newton, and V is the speed of the vehicle in the form of the meter per second, and G is the acceleration due to gravity meter per second square. And generally we take a 9.81 meter per second square, and R is the radius of the curvature. So here P is equal to W V square divided by GR. So P by W is equal to V square divided by GR. Now here we apply the mathematical formula for this triangle. So we apply tan theta. Tan theta is the angle of super elevation, and E is super elevation, and B is width of the road. So tan theta is equal to E divided by B. Clear? So here Mn divided by Mg, Mn divided by Mg is equal to P by W. So it's a force P and weight W. So it's a P by W. So P by W is already, we know that P by W is equal to V square divided by GR. So right here V square divided by GR. So E by B is equal to V square divided by GR. Clear? Now E is a super elevation. Super elevation is equal to B square BV square divided by GR. So what is B? B is the width of the road, V is the velocity of the vehicle, G is a 9.81, and R is the radius of the curvature of a road network. So this equation is finding out for the super elevation for any road network turning. Now next topic is the length of the transition curve. So length of transition curve introduced between the straight and circular curve is calculated by following consideration. First is by rate of super elevation, second is by time rate, and third one is by rate of change of radial acceleration. Now first we discuss about the by rate of super elevation. So length of the transition curve L is equal to NE. So here the value of the N may vary from 300 to 1200, and E, we discuss about the equation for super elevation. E is equal to BV square divided by GR. So B is the width of the road, V is the velocity of the vehicle, G is 9.81, and R is the radius of the curvature. Now next is by rate of time. So the time taken by the vehicle pass over the transition curve of a length L with a speed of a velocity V. So T is equal to time T is equal to L divided by V. L is the length and V is the speed of the vehicle. Now super elevation is attained in this time is E is equal to TR. Clear? So E is equal to TR is equal to L divided by V into R. So capital L is a length is equal to EV divided by small r. Now substitute the value of the E in a above equation. So here value E is equal to BV square divided by GR. So here V divided by R, BV square divided by GR is a length of the transition curve. Now next is by rate of change of radial acceleration. It's a third method. So in this method, the length of transition curve is decided based on the basis of comfort of passenger. And if alpha is the rate of change of radial acceleration, the radial acceleration is attained during the time vehicle passes over the transition curve is given by A is equal to alpha into T. So T is already we discussed in the last slide. T is equal to L divided by V. So length of the curve divided by velocity of the vehicle. Now radial acceleration is given by A is equal to V square divided by R. Clear? So A is alpha L divided by V. So write it here, and V square divided by R. So L is equal to V cube divided by alpha into R. So alpha is the rate of change of radial acceleration. So these are the third method for finding out the length of length of transition curve. Now next important topic start is type of transition curve. So there are main three types of the transition curve. First is a cubic spiral transition curve, cubic parabola, and lemniscate curve. So these three type of the transition curve is generally used in a highway network and railway network or a road network. So first one is a cubic spiral transition curve. So here suited this type of the transition curve, cubic spiral transition curve, suited for the railway network. And equation for a cubic spiral is a y L cube divided by 6RL. So here y, what is y? Y is a perpendicular offset, this value perpendicular offset from the tangent. This dotted line show the tangent, and L is a distance measured along the curve. So here see this L value is a distance measured along the curve, and R is the radius of the curvature, this curve, and radius from the center point, and L is the length of the transition curve. So this value starting to end point is the length of the transition curve. Here small l show the point from the tangent to the curvature point. Next is a cubic parabola. So here this cubic parabola transition curve is suited for a railway network, and equation for finding out the cubic parabola is y is equal to x cube divided by 6RL. So here in a cubic spiral, what is difference between the cubic spiral and a cubic parabola? So in a cubic spiral, L cube divided by 6RL is given, but in a cubic parabola, x cube divided by 6RL. So in a spiral we take a L cube, and in a cubic parabola we take a x value, x cube divided by 6RL. So what is y? Y is a perpendicular offset from the tangent, so this length, this value. X is a distance measured along the tangent from the starting point to we take a point at a sum of the distance, x distance, and R is the radius of the curvature, this value, and L is the length of the transition curve from the starting to end point is a length of the transition curve. Now next method is lemniscate curve. So these are the third type of the transition curve. It's a lemniscate curve. So when the entire curve is provided in the form of the transition curve, it is known as a lemniscate curve. So used for the highway construction, and equation for a Bernoulli's lemniscate curve is P is equal to K under root of sine 2 alpha. So these are the equation for lemniscate curve, and P is a polar distance of any point, and alpha is a deflection angle of any point. So this one is alpha, and P is the polar distance of any point. So this one is a polar rays, and K is a constant value. Now next topic we start equation for ideal transition curve. So when a vehicle moving on a straight take a circular path, super elevation is required to be introduced uniformly from 0 to its maximum design value, and on the other hand speed of the vehicle keep constant speed, and requirement are fulfilled by the increase the centrifugal force at the constant rate, and second is varying the distance traveling along the transition curve with time. So first we discuss about the centrifugal force is directly proportional to the length of the transition curve. So P directly proportional to L. So P is the centrifugal force is W square divided by GR raised to directly proportional to L. So but V, W, V and G are the constant value, clear. So 1 upon R directly proportional to L means R is inversely proportional to L. Now second is super elevation is proportional to length of the transition curve. Super elevation is proportional to length of the transition curve is equal directly proportional to WV square divided by GR. So here WV and G are a constant. So L directly proportional to R. So LR is equal to constant value. Now next new topic is start is vertical curve. So vertical curve is provided when the sudden change in a gradient of a highway or railway. So like vertical curve are provided highway and railway for a hilly or valley area generally, and gradient is expressed in the form of the percentage. So here gradient is a positive or negative type. So here rising gradient is take a positive, and falling gradient take a negative. So if the gradient show the positive value means highway or railway is rise up, and if the gradient show the negative value means highway or railway is goes in a downward direction. Like a plus 2% rise means 2 meter in every 100 meter road network or railway network is gone high. Now general equation for a parabola with its axis is vertical is y is equal to ax square plus bx. So here slope of the curve is given by dy by dx. Done a derivation of this equation. So dy by dx is equal to 2ax plus b. So the rate of change of slope or a gradient is equal to d square y by dx square. So another time we take a derivation. So d square y by dx square is equal to 2a is a constant value. Now next is the rate of change of gradient. So the characteristic of parabolic curve is that the gradient change from point to point, but the rate of change of gradient remain constant. So here rate of change of gradient R is equal to G2 minus G1 divided by L. So what is G1? G1 is the percentage of the gradient before intersecting the point, and G2 is the percentage of the gradient after intersecting the point. So G1 and G2 is the important gradient points, and L is the length of the vertical curve. So here rate of change of gradient for a railway network is given. So here types of railway. So first class railway and the second class railway or branch line. So here curve in the form of the percentage is given. So summit curve is in a downward direction, is a 0.3%, and valley curve summit curve and valley curve is in a 0.15%. So in a second class railway is value is 2 times of the first class railway, network. So it's 0.6% and 0.3% for a summit and valley curve. Now advantages of the vertical curve. So here first advantage is a change in a gradient gradually, because like a straight road is there and then after suddenly in a downward direction, then after goes in a upward direction. So we change the gradient gradually and comfortably. Now next is improve the appearance of the road network, and road and railway journey become comfortable because we change the gradient vertically and smoothly. Clear? Now next is the types of the vertical curve. So there are the main two types of the vertical curve. First one is a summit curve, is also called a convex curve, and valley curve. So it's a concave curve. So what is summit curve? It's a convex curve. So this type of the curve goes in upward direction. So summit curve is provide the following situation: an upgrade plus G1 followed by the downgrade G2. So it's a G1 and it's a downgrade G2. So for a upgrade G1 followed by the another upgrade G2. So G1 greater than G2, and downward grade minus G1 followed by the another downward grade G2. So here G2 greater than G1. So a plane surface followed by the downward grade minus G1. Clear? So it's a summit curve. And what's a valley curve? So valley curve like direction. So it's also called concave curve. So valley curve is provided in the following situation: in a downward grade minus G1 and followed by the upgrade plus G2, and downward grade minus G1 followed by the another downward grade minus G2. So G1 greater than G2, and upgrade plus G1 followed by the another upgrade plus G2 is a G2 greater than G1. So it's followed by the upgrade plus G1. Now length of the vertical curve. So the length of vertical curve can be obtained by dividing the algebraic sum or algebraic difference of a two grade of the rate of change of grade. So length of the curve L is equal to total change of gradient divided by rate of change of grade. So rate change of a grade is a G2 minus G1. So it's a grade change divided by rate of change of grade R. So G1 and G2 is equal to grade in a percentage, and R is the rate of change of grade in the form of the percentage. Now next topic we start is a compound curve. So what is compound curve? Compound curve consists of a two or more circular arc of a different radius with their center of the curvature on the same side of the common tangent. So it's called a compound curve. So here R1 and R2, or here radius is given, R3 and R4 is given. So here two curve of a different radius is joined and prepare a simple circular curve. So it's called a compound curve. So here figure show the two centered compared compound curve T1, T2, T1, T2 and T3 having a two circular arc T1, T3 and T2, T3 meeting in a common point T3 is known as a compound of the curvature. So here T1, T3 and T3 to T2 meet at a common point T3 is a point of compound curvature. Now what is T1? T1 is a point of the curvature PC or a starting point of the curve, and T2 is a point of tangency and point of the curve PT. RS and RL is a radius of the curvature. So this one is a RS and RL is a radius of the curvature. RS means short radius and L means RL means long radius, and delta S and delta L is a deflection angle of the delta L, and delta S is the diffraction angle, and LS and LS and LL is the length of the curvature. TS and TL is a tangent length. This TS and TL is a tangent length, and capital TS, capital TL is a tangent length. This one and this one. Now in a next lecture we discuss about the tangent length of the curvature. So here we we continue our topic and finish chapter by today. So here tangent length of the circular curve. So this one is a circular curve. So TS is equal to T1M is equal to MT3 is equal to RS tan delta S by 2. So this one is a delta S and RS tan delta S by 2, because delta S is a full angle and half angle is a delta S by 2. So when we delta S by 2, we apply the tan theta, so it's a TS divided by RS. When we take a triangle, this triangle, so it's a TS divided by RS. So TS is equal to RS tan delta S divided by 2. Similarly TL, this side, TL is equal to RL tan delta L divided by 2. We take a half of the triangle, this triangle, and apply the triangulation formula. Delta L by 2, tan delta L by 2 is a TL divided by RL. So TL is equal to RL tan delta L divided by 2. So MN is a total length of the TS plus TL, this length. So both the equation write at here, Mn is equal to TS plus TL. Next is a total deflection angle. So deflection angle delta, total deflection angle delta is equal to delta S and delta L. It's a deflection angle, delta S and delta L. Next is the tangent length of compound curve. So in a MBN, we take a triangle MBN, this triangle. So MN is equal to MT3 plus T3N is equal to TS plus TL. So MB divided by, we take a sine rule. So MB divided by sine L, MB divided by sine delta L, BN divided by sine delta S, and MN divided by sine 180 minus delta. Clear? Now MB divided by sine delta L is equal to BN divided by sine delta L is equal to T1 plus TL. TS plus TL is the value of the MN. This value TS plus TL divided by sine delta. Now MB, we find out the value of the MB. This value M2B is equal to TS TL divided by sine delta. Similarly, we find out the value of the BN is equal to TS plus TL sine delta S divided by sine delta. Now TS is a total tangent length, is a TS plus MB. So TS plus MB value we find out at here. So put at here. Then after TL is equal to this value TL. This TL value is a small TL plus BN, this distance. So BN value we already find out at here. So TL plus TS plus TL sine delta S divided by sine delta. Now next equation for in a compound curve is length of the compound curve, L is equal to LS plus LL. Length of the compound curve, this length is a LS plus LL. Now LS is equal to pi RS delta S divided by 180, and LL is a pi RL delta L divided by 180. It's a common equation, it's a maths formula. Now next and last is a chainage. So chainage of a T1 is a chainage of a T1 is a chainage of B minus TS. Chainage of T1 is a chainage of B minus TS is a value of the chainage of T1. Chainage of T3 is a chainage of T1 plus LS, and chainage of T3 is a chainage of T3 plus LS. So here T3 chainage is a T1 and LS and LL value. It's a summation of the both the LS and LL value. Now here we complete our chapter number 4, curve of a surveying subject. Thank you.